Hello everybody, I want to take a moment and show you my three main storage containers that I use for saving seeds to ensure that the seeds will survive from my previous growing season into the next growing season. The gold standard for saving seeds is envelopes, specifically paper envelopes, because it allows those seeds to breathe. You can write on them, you could seal them up, and with a little bit of tape, when you open these up in the spring, you could seal them back together. A more non-traditional example would be large containers. I have our field mix for our cut flowers in this big bubblegum container, and this has a perforated lid on top to allow for some air exchange in order to make sure the air doesn't get stagnant and humid inside. By far my favorite way to store my seeds from one season to the next is through this seed organizer. Thank you, my lovely bride, for making this purchase. This was a birthday present. So let's break this down so you can see how I use this organizer and some of its additional uses to help make my next growing season as efficient as possible. As I open up my organizer, you'll see I have some documentation in here. Later in this video, I'm going to give you a 1-minute rundown on why I keep this in my organizer and its importance. I wanted to scooch in so you could see better. All of these miniature organizers have labels. So we have just various categories of types of vegetables. So we have sweet peppers, for example, tomatoes. I even have a miscellaneous category right here that has some of my cut flowers that I plan to start from seed this year. One thing I want to point out about these miniature organizers is if you have open containers in here, they will spill the seeds everywhere. Fortunately, I only grow one type of okra. This is my okra container. And so if I have these seeds just free floating around, that's not a big deal. That does become a big deal if I were to go to my tomato seed container, right? I have 4 different varieties in here, and if these were to open up and get mixed up, that's going to reduce my efficiency as I go to plant these seeds in the spring. As I am saving these seeds, I need to make sure that my seeds are dry before I put them in these plastic containers, because these plastic containers do not allow moisture exchange. And so if you put wet seed in here, it will mold. Ask me how I know. And if it molds, then it could get into your other seed packets and potentially ruin the whole container. So make sure your seeds are dry before you add them in long-term storage. All right. I wanted to bring this document to your attention since I referenced it when I was showing you how I stored my seeds, and that is the vegetable planting calendar. I'm going to take less than a minute to explain this to you, so time me in the comments below. Ready, set, go. This is from the University of Missouri Extension, and basically what this is a recommended calendar for planting outdoors based on your growing zone. It has the general varieties for each species, and it includes your spacing as well as the time in which you should be planting it. It also includes the seed depth for when you are planting. Okay, so they have the map of the growing zones for the state, and then it also gives you the dates for when you should plant based on this map. All right, what's my time? Again, tell me in the comments below, how did I do? Use these just as general metrics when you're planning out your garden, because your planting dates are going to be specific to your area. As you can see, I've had plenty of success using super generic containers in order to save my seeds. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just as long as you keep them dry and safe for the next growing season.